Welcome back to Beauty by Design. This is Virgo season 2026. We're about to talk about the art of refinement. We are officially entering Virgo season, and I should disclose my bias immediately. I am a Pisces, but I'm a Virgo rising. So I know this energy intimately. Virgo frequently gets reduced to organization, perfectionism, and color-coded calendars, but that to me misses what's actually beautiful about this sign. Virgo is the art of refinement. It's the editor-in-chief, the esthetician who is down there with her mag light because she knows that there's a pore or a brown spot or 3 little hairs missed during dermaplaning. It's an expensive cashmere sweater. It's ballerina energy. It's quiet luxury before anybody started using that term. Virgo to me is nothing unnecessary, nothing tacky. Everything is just super detail-oriented and very considered. Virgo is mutable earth, and it arrives at the end of summer to help us decide what is meant to stay. And to really get into the details, we're going to use my Beauty by Design Intuitive Beauty Oracle cards to really visualize where this energy is happening in the body graph. So Virgo moves in the following order: 59, 40, 64, 47, 6, and 46. 46 is our bridge gate between Virgo and Libra. So we will revisit this on our next Libra episode. So following this trajectory, it's about openness, establishing reciprocity, moving through confusion to realization, and then we discern. Finally, we return to the body. So Virgo season isn't necessarily all about perfecting ourselves, but it's asking how we become more discerning about what deserves our energy. We enter Virgo season with 59. This energy is about breaking down barriers at once intimacy, closeness, honesty. And refinement does require honesty. You can't edit something you refuse to look at. So where have you built walls that once protect you but no longer serve you? Where are you craving more intimacy with someone else, with your work, with your own body? Even your beauty ritual can become an exercise in this. Take the makeup off, get close to the mirror, touch your own skin. Leo season was about expression and visibility. Virgo comes afterward and asks, what's underneath all of that? Now, while the sun is in 59, August 27th comes along and we have the Pisces eclipse in gate 55. These two are partners on the wheel. They sit opposite of each other. So almost immediately we get one of the biggest moments of the season, the Pisces full moon and lunar eclipse in 55. 55 is spirit, abundance, emotional experience. Virgo wants a plan. Pisces wants to surrender. Virgo wants to know what can it do. And Pisces is like, what would happen if you stopped doing for just a second? That tension feels particularly important because gate 55 isn't an energy that we can force. Sometimes abundance is not about acquiring more. Sometimes it's realizing your internal state cannot be controlled by your external circumstances. That can be very uncomfortable for Virgo. Virgo wants to fix, improve, book the appointment, buy the supplement, reorganize the bathroom cabinet. And sometimes those things genuinely help. But sometimes the work is allowing yourself to experience what's here without immediately turning yourself into a project. Not everything about you requires improvement. This Pisces eclipse marks the end of that nodal chapter. So this is it's a big ending. The nodes have already progressed onto the Aquarius and Leo axis, and this is closing out a certain time period. I find it really interesting that 55 is where this eclipse is landing because next year is 2027. If you are very into human design, 55 is the main character in this scenario. And then we move on to 40. This is the art of reciprocity. Virgo is the sign of service and its highest expression. I always think of it as like the hands-on healer, right? Pisces is very spiritual. Virgo is very earthbound. Virgo is the esthetician, the herbalist, the practitioner, the healer, the doctor, the person that's just like low-key doing exquisite work no one else maybe ever notices. But service has a shadow when it becomes overgiving. 40 is about the bargain, work and rest, giving and receiving. So during this period, I would suggest looking at routines, not because you need a better morning routine, but because the things you do repeatedly should actually support you. Where does your devotion become depletion? Where does being helpful make you responsible for everything and everyone? You don't need to earn rest by exhausting yourself first. At this time, learning to support yourself before giving everything away is going to be very important. And I always feel like with this one, you realize no one's coming to save you. Like you need to make sure you are taken care of. We give from the overflow, not the empty cup. Next comes one of my favorite sequences during Virgo season because we have two gates that we move through back to back that form a channel. 64 into 47, confusion into realization. 64 is this strange place where you have all the images, memories, ideas, information, but the story itself hasn't been revealed. And honestly, I'd say Virgo energy probably finds that very annoying. Want the answer now, please. But confusion isn't some sort of failure. Sometimes the pattern simply isn't complete. This channel, these energies are very much about patience and hindsight being 2020. And we do move into 47 next. And on September 10th, we have the Virgo New Moon in 47 realization. Suddenly something drops in, and then it clicks. Not necessarily because you've received new information. You're finally processing what was already there from 64 down to 47. And FYI, Virgo is ruled by Mercury. And in human design, I love to look at the gates where Mercury sits in your chart. They can tell you something fascinating about what you're here to think about and communicate. For instance, I have 30.5 on the black side. So that's my conscious Mercury in Aquarius. And on the red side, I have 26.6. That's my unconscious Mercury in Sagittarius. You can explore that for yourself with your own chart. The cards are a beautiful way to do that. But back to Mercury. This is also why Virgo can become mentally noisy. The same mind capable of extraordinary discernment can identify 17 potential different problems before breakfast even begins. Now, the new moon, I'd say don't ask, what else do I need to figure out? Ask, what do I already know that I'm finally ready to see differently? That's a very different beauty treatment for the mind. Then we move to gate 6, discernment. When we reach this place, it's about friction, boundaries, emotional discernment. And discernment might be my favorite Virgo word. Discernment is different from judgment. Judgment says good or bad. Discernment says for me or not for me. This is editor-in-chief energy. What stays, what goes, what deserves access to you, what doesn't anymore. And yes, I would make this physical. Clean the bathroom, wipe down your bottles, throw away ancient mascara, wash the brushes, edit the closet, donate what someone else could actually use. Like let your things, if you're not using them, fulfill their potential in this world. Put on Beyonce, who is a Virgo queen, and clean your house. There's something incredibly satisfying about creating order in your physical environment when your internal environment feels noisy. A clean bathroom won't solve all your problems, but the ritual gives your body somewhere tangible to put energy. Then on September 17th, Chiron, the wounded healer, is retrograding into Aries, gate 3. Gate 3 is about bringing order to chaos. That distinction matters. It doesn't begin with order. It begins with chaos. New patterns are messy before they become recognizable. New versions of ourselves are often awkward before they feel natural. So Virgo is the healer season and Chiron is the wounded healer. I think Virgo needs this reminder. Something being unfinished doesn't mean you've done it wrong. The retrograde is just going, hey, go back and let's clean up. Let's revisit the chaos to bring order to it. And then finally, Virgo season concludes with gate 46. We are back in the body. Love of the body, embodiment, the experience of actually being here in this physical vessel. Virgo understands that the body is a vessel for the spirit. Its obsession with health and wellness and well-being makes sense when we remove the perfectionism from it. Again, when you have that Pisces Virgo axis, it's like spiritual or material. So get physical. Pilates is quintessentially Virgo, in my opinion. Tiny, precise adjustments, creating strength and alignment. It's very ballet. I grew up as a kid doing it. It's very, very ballet world coded. But also I suggest walking barefoot, gardening, stretching, booking a facial. Aesthetically, Virgo is incredibly skin-centric. When I was working full-time in the treatment room many years ago, I was hyper vigilant about being so meticulous and complete in my treatments. Pore to pore, spot to spot, dermaplaning every single hair, and then I'd steam and get the light on and check everything. Nothing was going to get left behind on my watch. That's Virgo beauty. After Leo's drama and adornment, Virgo strips back the artifice. Give me the skin, give me the bare bones of beauty, give me this beautiful canvas. So the beauty prescription this season is simple. Purify, refine, return to the body. take a salt bath. I love rosemary and grapefruit together. They're crisp, clean, slightly medicinal. And absolutely, if you work with crystals, bring in clear quartz. It's one of my favorite Virgo stones. It's a master healer. Very, very Virgo. Clear, pure, useful. No flash, no unnecessary decoration, just quietly doing its job. But I do also love fluorite, moss agate, blue kyanite, lepidolite. They're all beautiful for this energy as well. Again, I would say clean your space, tend to your skin, get outside, return to the health practices that genuinely make your body feel supported. And meditate, not because you need to empty your mind, but because it's a great way to focus on the thoughts that actually deserve your attention. I would also add, notice the difference between care and connection, because there is a version of Virgo that looks in the mirror and immediately sees all the things it has to fix. And then there's another version that looks closely enough to understand exactly what's needed and nothing more. That is refinement. So on a personal note, I've been asked frequently, multiple times lately, whether or not I still work with people one-on-one. And I haven't been, but that answer is about to change. I knew I didn't want to just bring back an old version of my work because people were asking for it. The demand is there. And since the move, the space has sort of opened up for them. I spent the last few years collecting pieces, more than 2 decades working directly with skin, human design, the cards, energy work, meditation, sound, nervous system work. Lately, I've been just pulling it all together, pulling all the threads together, editing, testing, removing what isn't necessary, which again, very Virgo. And so I'm finally reopening my private one-on work again. But it is very different, more refined than anything I've offered before, because this also feels like me more than anything I've done before. Sessions begin with asking a simple question. What is stopping you from feeling good in your skin right now? And you know, this is not about the surface, it's about the subconscious. From there, we'll be using your human design and my Beauty by Design Intuitive Beauty Oracle cards to map what's happening beneath the surface. Then we take what we discovered out of the intellectual mind and bring it into the body through a completely personalized integration, meditation, energy work, sound, sensory ritual. And yes, it is done virtually, but also in person. It isn't about fixing you or diagnosing you or you having to learn human design. It is far more about rediscovering you underneath it all, which, come to think of it, might be the most Virgo thing I could possibly offer. All right, that's the story of this Virgo season. Beauty by Design Intuitive Beauty Oracle cards are a way to follow the progression of yourself throughout the season. You can pull a card, notice what it brings up, and most importantly, notice how the energy is actually showing up in your life. Welcome to Virgo season.